Nano Banana won't be replacing Photoshop because it has one major flaw that no one is talking about. If you go on YouTube right now and type in AI, you're going to see a hype train. Everyone just praising it, and it's rare that you come across a channel that is actually transparent about what it can and can't do. But the other day, I actually came across a channel called Piximperfect. I've been subscribed for some time, and I really love that channel for learning Photoshop. I think the guy's name is Unmesh that runs Piximperfect, but I love that his recent video on Nano Banana was just so transparent, and I think it's a, for me at least, it's a breath of fresh air. We're gonna put Nano Banana up against Photoshop to see if it can truly compete in a professional setting. So I'll be creating a mockup and comparing it to my Photoshop mockup. I'm going to be color grading with both, and we'll also do some compositing in both. We're gonna find out together if it can hang with Photoshop. First test is color grading, and I found this image on Unsplash, and if you wanna follow the photographer, I actually included their @ right here where the layer name is. But let's go ahead and first make this a smart object. We're just going to do a classic teal and orange color grade. It's super simple. And we're just gonna go to color grading, and I'm just going to pump some teal into the shadows. And then for the highlights, we'll just add a little bit of orange, nothing crazy there. So that's the color grading portion. And to be honest with you can do a lot of the teal and orange look just in the calibration here. So we're just gonna take the blue primary and bring that over to the left, which is going to add more red into the brick there. And then we're gonna bring the green primary to the right, and you can kind of see what it's doing there. And we already sort of have that teal and orange look, although it's very subtle. So this is the before and this is the after. It's again, subtle. Now we're in Gemini, and I wanna click on tools and choose create images, because that's actually what you need to use Nano Banana. We just wanna add the image, the original photo, not color graded obviously. So this is just the Unsplash photo that I downloaded directly. And now we just wanna give it a prompt. So we can do something like pretty simple and then hit enter and see what it does. So we'll download this image now, and we'll bring that into Photoshop on our document. You can already see there's an issue with resolution, right? Even if I upscale it, you can see that it looks terrible. Look what it did to the text Baker Street. It does not even look like it's not legible now. And if I hide this and look at the original, hopefully by now you guys have picked up on the major flaw, which is resolution. That's something you'll see across any AI model, whether it's with a video or photo. Resolution is always going to be the issue that pros have. And that's partially why I don't use it in a professional workflow most of the time. But there is one solution I have for you guys at the end of this video that can potentially fix this issue. As of right now, this is not usable for me. I will never send this to a client. It's not good. I didn't stop there though, because I was like, there's got to be a better way to use Nano Banana and have the capability of upscaling. So I actually subscribed to a site called flaw.ai. It's a credit system. So you just pay for credits, and you can use multiple AI models under one platform, which is super useful. But let's go ahead and test it out to see if it makes a big difference. Crossing my fingers, I hope this works. Okay, there's our image. Now, if I download the original image, let's compare the resolution real quick to the other one. So where is it at? Let's go ahead and import both into Photoshop real quick. So this is what I get from flaw, and this is what I get from Gemini, the exact same thing. So nothing has changed there, same resolution. And I know it's hard to tell, so let me hide the bottom image. There you go. And if we zoom in, you can see they're pretty identical on the results, right? Now let's test one more thing. Let's actually go back to flaw, anyway, and let's actually click upscale and see what that does. So we're gonna just run this. I'm looking at my other monitor. The upscale is 1,664 pixels by 2,496 pixels, which, to be really honest with you, is not much better. The original Gemini generation was 832 by 1248. So again, not a huge difference there, but let's go ahead and check it out anyway. Can you guys spot the other flaw? Typography, text. Anything that has text in it, AI is just really bad at. Now there are other AI models that handle it much better, but this is just not acceptable. I cannot use this. Even though the resolution looks better, it's still nothing compared to, if you look, well, that's Gemini. Look at that. Night and day difference, guys. It doesn't take a genius to see this is so much better looking. And it gets even worse if I were to upscale this, right? If I were to take this and make it the exact same, it's just not the same. And it even added a bald spot on the guy. And the hand, if you look at the hand, it did some funky stuff there too. So again, it's just not reliable. I do have a better upscaling solution for you guys at the end of this video that might actually fix this problem. Not good. So now let's go ahead and create a mockup and see how it stacks up against my mockup. So we'll first go to this graphic right here, and I'm just using this as an example. We actually got this from our Kittle video here, and then we're just going to take it into my mockup, which I handmade. I shot this photo myself and did all the layer adjusting and stuff like that. So we're just gonna paste that in place, and as you can see, it already looks realistic, like it's actually on the shirt. And if you zoom in, you can see there's actually detail. Now I am 200% obviously, but there's still a lot of detail there. And I've created a new chat in Gemini, and I'm just going to upload that design that we just saved to the desktop. And let's add a prompt. Add this design to a plain black t-shirt. Okay, not bad, not bad. It's not bad, but it doesn't look realistic. Like, it just looks fake right off the bat. I wouldn't use this. It's just not good. Sure, the t-shirt looks like a vintage streetwear tee. And I know I'm giving it basic prompts. I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure that you can make a better prompt than me and get some good results. All right, so this is a little better with a little bit more specific results, but again, it changed the design, which is what we don't want. It added some weird cracks to the design that are not actually there. It has its limitations. Obviously, resolution is the big one, but there's more than one flaw. It's not just about resolution, it's also about changes. Like, it literally takes what you input and changes it on you. And you have to be mindful of that, because there's times where you might not catch this. Like, if I wasn't paying attention, I might not see that crack that it just added. And when you compare it to mine, it's not in the same league. It really isn't. For shits and giggles, I'm going to go download it and just throw it in here so you guys can see it and all of its, I can't say glory. And it's not that I'm trying to like talk shit on Nano Banana, because it is great. And I think Photoshop plans on implementing it somehow. And I do think it has like really powerful use case scenarios. To test compositing, I'm actually going to be using Photoshop's Harmonize feature, which is so powerful. It's basically AI versus AI at this point. I do think this is a fair test. So we're going to upscale Charmander here, and we're going to make it look like he is in the field right there. It should be pretty simple, but you never know. But we're gonna drag that down. And as you can see, we have the Pokemon above here, and then we have the background. We don't need to touch the background. And all we have to do is click Harmonize, and it should do a pretty good job. And again, it's one click. You don't have to do this all manually like you used to. But it's not to say that it's perfect, but it does a pretty good job from my test that I've ran. Okay, so the lighting looks really good. Now, the only thing it's missing is it's not blending, and then we'll do something like this. So again, it's not perfect, but it gets the job done right now because I don't have a grass brush. Not bad, honestly. Okay, now let's test Gemini to see if it can, compete. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll upload the files. We're gonna check Charmander and the grassy field here with all the beautiful flowers. And we're just going to say this Pokemon into the field. Clearly there's an issue. Now, one thing that I do like that it did is it actually added the grass in front of the Pokemon, which is great. I'm sure if I keep prompting, I can come up with better results than this, obviously, but it's just not great. I mean, plain and simple. So let me go ahead and try it one more time just because I want to give it a chance here. But again, I'm not very impressed with the results here. If you compare it to my Photoshop version, where is it at? It's just a night and day difference. So again, and the resolution stayed the same. Charmander was already a very blurry image when I downloaded it off Google. So the fact that it was able to use this and still make it look good is pretty cool. And as promised, I think I have a solution for you guys that might actually help you out, and it might get you closer to a professional workflow. And that is using an image upscaler called Gigapixel 8. It's by Topaz Labs. I'm not sponsored by them. You do not have to buy it. I paid $99 for it, and I got a lifetime license. Using Gigapixel 8, I'm just going to select my image that we color graded earlier, and we upscaled, and we're going to see if it can do a better job of basically rendering. Well, actually, we don't want to use this version. I just forgot. We're going to use the one from Gemini instead. But in order for this to be a true test, we need to copy the resolution of our original photo here to see if they match. So this is 4,000 by 6,000. So we need to go back here, and we're going to upscale it by that exact amount. So we're going to go 4,000 by 6,000. There you go. And we're going to let it process and see if it looks even semi decent. Yeah, it's just not great, guys. Let's export it. I've just imported the Gigapixel 8 upscaled version of the photo, and we're just going to paste it into this document and do a comparison. And I've already resized this document to fit both images, and you can clearly see the resolution difference. I mean, it's night and day. Look at the hair, look at the bricks, look at the color rendition, contrast, everything is just so much better on the left side, and that is the Photoshop version. So I think we can all agree the Photoshop version in this case wins, unless you're like living on a different planet or something, then I don't know what to say. A-N-A-N-A-S. Anyway, you know that song? That's how I spell bananas now. Is that even how you spell banana? Damn. There you go. There you have it, my friends. We have Photoshop versus Nano Banana upscaled with Gigapixel 8. Did it solve the issue that we were trying to solve? I would say yes and no. The resolution clearly is an issue, but if you're really wanting to use an image that you just generated with Nano Banana, Gigapixel 8 might be your solution. You might have to go in there and fix the type, which is not that hard to do. Well, depending on the perspective. In my opinion, Nano Banana is not going to replace Photoshop anytime soon. And I truly hope that Adobe works with Nano Banana in some capacity to implement it into Photoshop, because I do think it has powerful use case scenarios. But as of right now, I don't think it works in a professional setting, and it's more of a toy than a professional tool. My name is Charlie Pangus. I'll see you guys later.